Hello and welcome to Turtle VR. Let's get building. Today we're in the grasslands of Turtle VR, where we'll have our turtle here draw some random lines throughout the terrain. Now this program already exists as one of our examples, so let's go ahead and load that up. And it has the name of Random Path. Let's run it and see what it does. So each time the turtle moves, it's choosing a random rotation and a random distance for it to move in. And it's also choosing a random color for each of these lines that it's drawing out. So let's go ahead and recreate this program step by step so we can see how it's done. First, we'll click on New and clear out the existing program. We'll also take the turtle here and reset it so that it goes back to the world origin. Now, to see where the world origin is, we can click on the Options tab and click on Show World Axes. Why don't we go ahead and take a look at that. So the world axis here has 3 arrows. There's the green arrow that points in the positive Y axis, which is the same direction the turtle is facing. And then the red arrow points in the positive X axis. And then the blue arrow here then points up towards the positive Z axis. We'll go back to our tablet here then. And now before we jump into programming, let's just talk about how we can move around the world. By default, we are set to teleport, but we can also turn on the optional smooth locomotion using the touchpad or thumbstick of either controller. So if we choose that, then you can use that to move around the world. So it's up to you, whichever method you prefer. Let's go back to the Program tab here. And we want to start writing a program to move the turtle. So a good place to start is under the turtle category, and here we have a number of move blocks. So we'll drag out the move forward block. Now, if we just place this anywhere on the canvas, nothing will happen with the program because the program begins here with the program start block and then goes from there. So there's nothing there, so nothing will happen. If we drag this block and attach it to the program start block, then now the turtle will move forward by 10 centimeters because the units in Turtle VR for motion here is in centimeters. So if we go ahead and run that and look at the turtle, there we saw it move that small amount there, the 10 centimeters. Now if we want to change this to a larger value, we can open up our keyboard here, and in fact let's move our tablet up a little bit higher. And now we'll select the 10, and let's change this to 200 centimeters or 2 meters. So move forward by 200 centimeters. Let's run this. So you see the turtle then now has moved much further. That's the 200 centimeters then. Now for this program, we want the turtle to actually randomly choose how far it moves forward instead of this fixed amount. So to do that, we'll go here to the Math category and hold down the trigger and scroll to our blocks here at the bottom, and we'll see that there's 2 random programming blocks. The first one here will produce a random integer from some number to some other number, and the other one is the random fraction block, and that's one that we're going to use. So we'll drag that out, and this block here produces a value from 0 to 1, like 0.25, 0.31, 0.46, for example. And we're going to do something with this. We're going to take another math block here. We'll scroll up by holding down the trigger and dragging, and use the math operator block, and we'll add the random fraction to that. Now this block then starts off with an addition, but what we actually want is a multiplication. So this is saying take the random fraction, which is 0 to 1, and multiply it by some value here. Now this value that we'll use is this 200 block, so we'll drag it and drop it in, and so now we're saying multiply a number from 0 to 1 times 200. So we'll take this programming block here and attach it to the move forward block. And so this is now saying move the turtle forward by some random number that'll range from 0 to 200. So let's run this and see what happens. Okay, so each time we ran that, the turtle then drew a line out a distance from 0 to 200, and so each time we ran it, it was a different amount. Now what we also want the turtle to do is we want the turtle to rotate So as it draws a line, we want it to rotate, and then eventually we'll have it draw more lines and rotate even more. But we need to start with just the first rotation. So go back under the turtle category, and here we'll choose the turn right block. And this is saying turn the turtle right by 10 degrees, because all rotations in Turtle VR are in degrees. Now if we attach this to the end of the program, then this means that when the program runs, the turtle will move and then turn. So go ahead and run this. It might be hard to see, but the turtle there, it moved a little amount this time, but it's also ever so slightly rotated. It's at 10 degrees. What I'd actually like the turtle to do, instead of moving and then rotating, here we'll try again. There, so we can see it moved and then rotated. I want it to first rotate and then move, so that the line will actually be drawn in the direction that the turtle is rotated. So we'll take this turn block and we'll insert it here between the program start and the move block. So let's run this now. Okay, so each time I'm running it, the turtle is just rotating 10 degrees, but is moving out, that random distance. Now what we'd like it to do is actually randomly rotate as well, let's say between 0 and 90 degrees. So we can make use of this random block group that we've already built. We'll hold down the trigger, and we'll duplicate that. And now we'll change the 200 here to 90 for 90 degrees. And we don't need this number block anymore, so we'll take that, put it in the trash, and we'll drag this block group up and attach it to our turn block. So now we're going to turn right by some random value from 0 to 90, and then move by a random value from 0 to 200. Great. So we're seeing exactly what we wanted out of this. Now what if we wanted the turtle to do this like 3 times, to draw 3 line segments? Well, the simplest way to do that is we could just duplicate all this. So we hold down the trigger, choose duplicate from the menu, attach the turn block, do the same with move block, and then do it again with the turn block, and again with the move block. Okay, now let's run this. Okay, so we can see now that the turtle is indeed drawing 3 segments and doing 3 rotations. Now what if we wanted this to happen 10 times? Well, we could, copy it out a few more times until we reach 10, but what if we wanted to do 100? Well, we don't really want to be copying all these blocks. What if we wanted to change a value, and then we'd have to change it for all of them? We want the program to work for us here. So what we need is some kind of loop. So we'll go to the loops category, and out of these blocks then we'll choose the top one, which is repeat something 10 times, whatever the contents are. And we'll add this to the program start. Well, we'll insert it here really. And what we want to repeat then is the turn and the move. So we don't need these other turns and moves, so we can just throw those in the trash. And now we'll take this program block group and we'll input it inside the repeat block. So now it'll 10 times turn right then move, and turn right then move, etc. So let's run this. Okay, great. So it looks like there's 10 line segments there that are being drawn, and the turtle's definitely rotating each time. Now, we're getting this kind of circular spiral pattern here, but what I'm really looking for is maybe more of a zigzaggy pattern. And to do that, we have to have the turtle turn left in addition to turning right. So that means we need to have some kind of random choice in here, where it could turn right or it could turn left. And for making this kind of choice, we'll go to the logic group and we'll choose the if block. We'll take this if block and put it within the repeat block here, because we want this to also happen the 10 times. And what the if block says is that if some condition here is true, then do the contents of the block. If the condition is false, then it'll skip that and move on to the next block. So in this case here though, we actually want it to, turn right if something's true, but if this condition is false, then we want it to really do something else. So to do that, we'll click on the gear menu here, and now we can modify how this if block works. We can drag out this else block then and attach it here, and then now we can see it's modified the block here in the programming area. So now if some condition is true, then it'll do this. Otherwise, if it's false, then it'll do that. Now we can also add these else if blocks, so that way we could say if something's true, do this, else if something else is true, do that, and then if we had this final else blocks, then it would run that, run those blocks if everything else is false. But for our case here, we just need this if else. So to close this menu, we'll click on the gear again, and now we want to drag our turn right into this area here. So we'll drag it out. We'll detach the move from the group here. So we just have the turn right block, and now we'll put it into the true area. So if this condition is true, then do that. We still want the move to happen afterwards, so we'll attach it to the end of the if block. Now what we need here is a turn left. Well, what we can do is duplicate this turn right by holding down the trigger, choosing duplicate. And now we can put this in the else area and change it from a turn right to a turn left. So now all we need to figure out is what this condition is that determines whether we do the right or the left. So I think what we'll do is we'll use the random fraction again. So we'll go here to the math area, scroll down, and choose random fraction. And then now we need to test it against some condition to determine whether it's true or false. So we'll go back to the logic area here, and we'll choose this block here that allows us to test it. We'll take the random fraction and insert it here on the left. So this is now saying if a random fraction is equal to some value. But we don't want it to test if it's equal to a value. We want more of a range. So we'll go ahead and click on that and choose the less than or equal to. As far as the test here goes, we'll go back to math, drag out a number block, put it here on the right. And let's choose it, and we'll put in a value of 0.5. So we know the random fraction goes from 0 to 1. So if it is less than or equal to 0.5, then this group here will return a true. If it's not less than or equal to 0.5, so in other words, if it's greater than 0.5, then this will return a false. So let's plug this in. Now let's go ahead and test this. So you can see now then the turtle is moving both left and right, and we're getting these zigzaggy lines then, which is exactly what we're after. So the last thing that we'd like is for the line segments to be a different color each time. So what we can do here is go into the pen category and drag out the pen color block. Now we'll put this here within the repeat block because we want it to change each time. Well, let's just test it with what we have. So the line segments are now red because that's what we've chosen here with the color swatch. If I go ahead and click on it and choose like a blue here and run it, now all of our line segments are blue. But what we'd actually like is for this to be a random color instead of one that we're choosing. So if we go under the color category here, this is where we have blocks for modifying the color, and there's a random color block right here. So we'll take this color swatch and we'll trash that, and we'll attach the random color. So now let's go ahead and run this. So you can see now that each line segment is a separate color. So that's exactly what we're after. Now the final step here in the example program that I wrote for this is I actually had the turtle start up off the ground a little bit. So to do that, let's go here under the turtle category again, and we'll take a look at the move blocks. The first two here move the turtle relative to its current direction that it's facing. The next move block moves it to an absolute coordinate value in the world. The final one here, called Go To, though, it jumps or teleports the turtle to this absolute world coordinate. And the difference here is that the move blocks will have the turtle draw a line so long as the pen is in its down state. The Go To block, though, because it's a teleport, it will never have the turtle draw a line when it does this jump. So we'll go ahead and make use of that, and I want this to happen right at the beginning. So we'll insert it under the program start. Now let's have the program, or not the program, the turtle here, jump up by 100 centimeters, so 1 meter. So now we go ahead and run this. And you can see now, the turtle is up higher. And let's go ahead and choose a different turtle here. We'll choose the baby turtle. And go back to the program. And now let's run this. Oh, there we go. Hello, baby turtle. Having fun? Well, great. We've now gone through how to build a program based on an example, step by step, and you've learned how to move the turtle forward randomly and rotate randomly and change the color of the pen. So this is an excellent end spot here, so why don't we say until next time, bye-bye.